and welcome to DDOCast episode 491, recorded live on Sunday, October 8th. I'm your host, Patrick. With me this week, we have returning to the show, Evil Beaker.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Welcome back. The partner in this escapade didn't really mean it to be that way, but then kind of just started doing it that way.
And it's just schedules seem to work out.
Well, it's nice for consistency, too, and gives a nice another through thread besides myself. Also this week, we have Strim Tom. Welcome back, sir.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Yeah, welcome back. But let's find out what you're up to these days towards the end of the show. But you've been streaming DDO a lot and a lot of other things.
A lot more recently, yeah. So
yeah, life gets in the way, doesn't it? This week's screenshot. I know where this is. Chronicus wonders what the ancient building holds for him in the 336 screenshot of the week. Spoiler: death. Death is what it in more ways than one.
no way worse than Death Man. It's mummy rot.
Oh yeah. Oh, mummy rot. Weren't we having? We just did this on Kasplat this week. Was King.
It was brutal.
It was fun. Didn't someone have like mummy rot through death or something?
Yeah. That was the only way to get rid of the mummy rot is by dying.
Well, I had potions, but I don't know what y'all are doing. We like to talk about Dungeons and Dragons online nearly every weekend. You can catch us through Twitch, YouTube, the DDO forums, iTunes, or from our website, DDOcast.com. DDOcast is hosted by Cyber Ears, the awesome podcast hosting network. Shows are usually available within a few days of recording. The next show will probably be not next weekend. I'm not going to do a show next weekend. I have a class. It will be long and boring. And then there's other things I'm going to be doing that will prevent me from doing DDOcast next week. So we'll be back in 2 weeks. You can stay up to it by following us on our social media pages or our website, DDOcast.com, with our calendar. Pro tip, if you want to find the show the fastest, Twitch is the place to go because it just automatically goes there when I'm done doing the live stream. And then it goes to YouTube first. And sometimes it sits on YouTube for a day before I actually like go in and we get all the timestamps and export it to other places. So if you just a pro tip that I don't mention very often, but if you want to find the show the fastest, Twitch and YouTube are the two places to do that. And you can subscribe to us on Twitch, and then you can just like always know that it's you. If you catch it live, you catch us live. If not, it archives there for like a week, something like that. In any case, on the podcast this week. We've got a lot of fun things to talk about. We got a new patch. There's a new, or we got a hot fix. There's a new patch on Lamania with some fun things. Vistani Knife Fighter and the Aasimar. So we can talk about those. So that'll be kind of fun. And some other things. But before we get to that, we're going to do our discussion on, continue our discussion on leveling. We're at levels 10 to 12. And again, this is we're looking at the quest levels, the quests that are at level 10 to 12 on normal. Continuing our discussion, just going to give you an idea of what's there, what we like to run when we're leveling, all that kind of stuff. We've been doing this for a couple weeks, every other week or every other show. And in response to someone asking for a leveling guide, I thought I could stretch it out for a whole lot of shows, and we could talk about them because we can talk about these for a long time. And I think just to kick this off, we were talking about this before off the air. This is a weak set of quest levels. There's not that many. There's a lot that people skip. And right off the bat, we know that Ravenloft has been said to be in heroic version level 10. They even actually were talking about having a mechanic for a short period of time, like a Veteran 3 status, where you could start at level 10, so you could just jump in and run this content. I have a feeling that may not... I mean, that's great for marketing, but it may not be a great option for your surviving.
They did it once before. I think it was a jump to level 8, I think, or 16 or something like that. This goes back a ways, but there was a way where you could get a level boost to play some new content.
Interesting. Probably, I would think it would be Temple of Elemental Evil. They just opened up veteran status for everyone for a while, but
I think it would be if they do quests like they have been recently and the way they've been designing them, then I think that starting a fresh character at 10 is a horrible idea.
Yeah, you're probably. I mean, look, it'll expose you to the game, and if you want to go in and jump in and check Ravenloft out right away, that's what's drawing you to the game. Totally, from a marketing standpoint, it makes absolute sense.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure that you will have the full enjoyable experience if you started at level 4 or 1, right? But hey,
Well,
what do I know?
If you started at 7, though, I mean, you could get 3 levels to get acquainted with the game for the most part, and then jump right into Ravenloft and die. There you go.
Yeah, well, but people want to have the experience. In any case,
yeah.
Play the game how you want, and we hope you have fun. That's really a good. But let's talk about
Absolutely.
levels 10 to 12. And like I said, there's a lot here that people just tend to skip. So coming into this, I tend to try to make sure that when I'm kind of hitting these quest level ranges, that I'm really caught up on what comes before. Because there's a lot. You look at level 7 to 9, and there's a lot of stuff to run. They're all pretty quick. They're a lot of fun.
They're fun.
Yeah,
They're fun. That's the most important thing. They're fun.
This level range, there seems to just be fewer quests. I mean, you look at level 12 alone, and there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 11 quests to choose from. 2 of which are raids. So there's just a smaller selection. There's more quests that people don't run because they don't like them, or sometimes it's not even because they don't like them. It's just they're longer. Like we'll talk about some of those ones as well. So there's these weird reasons why people just tend not to run some of these. So let's start with level 10. Does anyone want to just pull a quest out of the hat, out of this list here, and then start our discussion with?
Yeah, absolutely. I find that there at level 10 has like a pretty good range of quests that are either horrible or just very kind of blah. And a perfect example of this, of a quest that's just a regular quest, is like the quest in Ataraxia's Haven. They're not super unique. You've got Sikros Jewel and Reclamation, just quests where you go into a place, you kill some guys, you get some treasure, but there's no unique treasure in the quest, so it doesn't really feel like it's very unique. The monsters, while they're, dwarves that are unique to that area and trolls that are unique to that area, are just kind of reused monsters. There's no special traps or secrets. They're just quests, and they're not very long. So I think they kind of hit I don't want to say like the standard, but kind of like you don't feel bad for doing them, but you're not like, oh boy, I get to go to Ataraxia's Haven now.
Sure. They do have the Scrag. Like that area has Scrag. It's the only place you can find Scrag, which have a really funny place in DDO history. Because when the game came out originally, you had to have acid or fire to kill a troll. Any troll. It didn't matter what kind of troll it was. You had to kill it with fire acid. You could drop it down to 0 and then like hit it with fire and it would die. And they took that away because that was too hard or people didn't like it. And then they did that with the Scrag. They made the Scrag like that, and then they took that away because people still didn't like it. Yeah, these are 2 quests that they're not terribly long. I would say Cycros' Jewel is the troll one, right? And Reclamation is the mine, yeah.
Yeah.
Cycros' Jewel, the only thing I have against it, and it's not a really big thing, but you do have to find a key.
And it's in a random place every time.
You have to find 2 keys. So, no, it's not a very large area to find it in. It's usually not too bad. These are 2 that are on the run list for the group that I was running with, that I've been talking about, that really has made it really super efficient, and like they've got a path and they know which quests they do, right, and in which order they prioritize them. So if there's a bonus weekend, they know which ones they'll skip, right? And you can also get a fair amount of XP just running to these 2 quests too. There's a lot of explorer areas kind of on the way and pretty easy to do. So, Mr. Beaker, anything you want to say about these?
Yeah, I mean, if you got a short night, like you're only going to be on for an hour or something like that, and you're in this level range, these are great quests to just fill a short evening of DDO. That's what we use them for, basically.
Yeah. I would give a small word of caution. The Dwargar, I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, the dark dwarves that are in Reclamation, and another quest we'll talk about later. They're surprisingly difficult for
Mhm.
what they are.
Yep.
You can't hold them. I mean, they're dwarves, but they've got a little extra defenses. So
They come with stone skin as well, I believe.
yeah, just be aware and watch out for the casters. That kind of mean.
Don't worry about the casters, man. It's those archers that just stand there. There's 30 of them in a room, and it's just like, pew, 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 pew. And then somehow when they actually get up in front of their faces, it's like, oh man, he's got a bow. What's he gonna do? And they slap you with their bow for like so much damage.
They're mean. They're a surprisingly tough mob. Mr. Beaker, why don't you go next? Why don't you pull something out of the level 10 range?
Well, and I think I mentioned this to you earlier. If I'm playing a rogue or I'm trying to level a rogue and I want to test them out at level 10, hiding in plain sight, that's a great quest just to find all the little tricks and twists and to help you tweak. I mean, I use it to tweak my rogue basically, and it's got the greatest swimming knife path in the whole game. If you want to try and find your way through that,
It's easier than Crucible, just so you know.
yeah, it is.
It is easier.
But actually, we ran this. I think the third or fourth time we ran this quest, we realized that there's a lever at the end to turn off the blades. Otherwise, everybody had to swim through on their own.
Yes, that's true.
So, and it actually has a surprisingly tough end fight because I think there's 3 bosses at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a great for me for our group. We use it to test ourselves at level 10.
Yeah, I also really like this quest a lot. I think it's got a lot of character, which is great. It brings you, if you did any of the harbor quests, you immediately get rewarded for knowing who these characters are, like what your motivations are, what you're trying to do. And then when you get in, again, you're revisiting different parts of the sewer. It actually hooks up different parts of the Stormreach sewer, so you can kind of actually really get a feel for where you're going because it links in with the Osgood's basement, the quest over there on the other side, which is nice. And then it just has so many secrets and hidden doors and pathways of things you like. There's one straight line you can go through, but if you explore and look around, and you can get like there's just bonus bosses and extra chests. I really like this quest. I think they just knocked it out of the park with that one.
30 Dexter's giving it a heart in the chat room. Yeah, it's one of those because you can easily like shorten this quest by a half to down to a third of the time it would take you to do like all of the stuff if you wanted to, which is probably what most people do. But if you want to like explore the fringes, it's a great one. I think while we're on this one, we should talk about its because this is a prequel or the first quest in a series of quests. Because it unlocks the Restless Isles, which is the Titan raid area. And there's 2 more quests at level 10, which is Slavers of Shrieking Mines and Bring Me the Head of Golafon, which I think are fun quests. I enjoy them. Slavers has, it's very notable that Slavers has the only res clicky in the game, I think, that you can still get other than Legendary Shroud and Heroic Shroud.
Yeah, I think Shrouds, that's it.
It comes on a ring. It's a rare drop, but if you know where it is in the quest, you can actually farm the crap out of that really easily because you can just drop straight down and run to that chest and get it and then pop right out. There are some issues with these quests, though, that make it so that people don't run them, specifically getting to them.
Yeah, so I haven't done these quests in, literally since they came out. And so this last life while I was playing, I challenged myself to do every single quest I don't normally do. So I decided to do these 2 quests.
How long did it take you to find them?
Well, actually, I had someone guiding me through who actually knew where to go. So that was nice. But doing just those 2 quests alone took us 2 whole hours. Getting around takes forever for no reason, and there's no map when you go underground in the actual explorer area.
Nope.
And then getting into the 2 quests, to be fair, I think they're very interesting. I think there's tons of flavor. It's a very cool quest area. I think even the characters are interesting, that you get to talk to for the quests. And even the items are really good. All the cool named items, they're unique and different.
Mm-hmm.
But I just straight don't like either of these quests. They're extremely difficult by comparison to the other level 10 quests.
Do you think so? I don't really find them to be.
Because it's about the resources.
I mean, there's not very many quests to compare them to at level 10.
It's the reason why I think of it as more difficult is because the monsters, they're not insanely challenging. There's not anything else. There's a lot of hit points to get through, and both these quests feature very few shrines.
Sure.
And so if you don't have a larger party, you will just run out of stuff to use on the monsters. And I think that's kind of like they're great. It's like almost like a quest that's built in and designed to be played with your friends. You want to go get a group of 5 or 6 people and go take it on, and it's really fun. But if you're doing it with one person or 2 people, they take an incredibly long time, and sometimes you don't make it to the shrine before you're completely out of stuff.
The other thing about these quests is they're not linear. Both of them are not linear. There's lots of side passages, some of which you need to go through, and then you need to backtrack. I haven't run these in long enough that Golafan is a little fuzzy for me. I think I still got Shrieking Mines down. I think I can still navigate that because there's a pretty basic way you can do it. But like Shrieking Mines, as an example of this, there is kind of you can kind of go down a series of paths, but if you forget to like go down one of these side passages, you're not going to kill one of the things you need to find, and then you can end up spending hours looking for them, or maybe not hours, but you take a lot of time looking for that one mob that you missed, if you missed it, and then on top of all that, you can't kill 10 miners, right? If you kill a certain number of the miners, you get ejected from the quest. You fail it. So these are not popular quests because of these reasons. If you have someone... I actually really like these quests. I particularly like Shrieking Mines. Now, part of that might just be because, it strokes my ego the right way that people follow me through these quests because I know where I'm going. But I do kind of enjoy the quests. There's some great flavor in them. A pretty good variety of mobs. There's several unique mobs in here. If you're looking for, are Ogre and Magi their own monster manual thing? Or are they in Ogres? Are they even in the monster manual?
So that's confusing because they're not technically ogres at all. I don't know what they're in the game defined as ogres, but they're not ogres, and they're not in the monster manual.
Okay, if they were, that would be great. Freaking Mines would be a great place to get some of them. But but there's a couple unique monsters in here. There's some fun layers. Bring Me Head the Golafon, the gauntlet area is pretty fun. The little trappy gauntlet area is kind of a fun thing to do. But yeah, these quests don't get run a lot. And we can just kind of talk about them now. They're not at level 10, but they're at level 11 and 12. The resulting Titan raid, right? There's a pre-Titan raid, and then there's the actual. It's very similar to how Vault of Night and Plain of Night work, right? There's the one beforehand, and then that's really long, and then the actual raid is really short, but they're both raid areas. Again, they don't tend to get run very much because you don't see people running Golafon and Shrieking Mines very much. It's hard to get to the place if you're just going to walk. Now, I should mention there are tricks that you can get around the Explore area. If you have the quests, like they're active quests, you can teleport to the quest givers of Golafon and Shrieking Mine, which puts you pretty close to the actual quest entrance. You still have to get there and how to get there, but it's a lot harder to get lost doing it that way. And you can greater teleport to the Twilight Forge, which of course is awkward because you can only greater teleport from a non-public area, which means you have to have people jump into a raid area to teleport there, because otherwise you can't be in a raid group to get 12 people there. So there's ways to do it, but it kind of becomes tedious, and therefore it tends not to get run. Even when it was kind of the end game, right? It wasn't exactly a popular raid, and I think that the getting there was a big part of that.
Yeah, not to forget that even if you bring your friends there, the raid itself requires like a number of people. It's not like one of those raids like Tempest Mine where you can just like go do it by yourself. If you have like the stats for it, you actually need other people to join you. So even if like you and 3 friends go do the precursors, you can't just do the raid. So
you do it with 4.
Yeah, you can do it with 4, but so I guess 3 friends. I was thinking like 3 people.
I actually like that about the raid, to be honest.
Yeah, I like it too.
My only issue with the raid itself was the low margin for failure. which I really don't like in a quest. You know, if you're gonna take a lot, if it was just that you popped in to that raid and that was all you had to do, I would be fine with the murder. So what I'm talking about, there's 8 pillars, and you have to get 6 of them to land on the Titan to kill it. If you miss with 3 of them, you have failed. It won't tell you have failed, but you can't complete it. And because the pre-raid can take you 30 minutes at least, I don't like that about it. That's the one thing I don't like about the raid. On that note, let's talk about the other raid one of the other raids that's in here, Vault of Night, Plane of Night. Which, if you're running level 10 to 12, are it's one of those things that I think people love to run the raid, at least the pre-raid. The raid itself isn't great XP, but if you're there, you may as well run it. And then it's House K favor, right? It's not too hard. The thing about the raid, I think, that most people find is, level 8 is Vaughn 1 and 2, level 9 is Vaughn 3 and 4, and if you're really kind of parsing those out, you probably will do them that way. And then level 10 is Vaughn 5 and 6. But I think a lot of people tend not to, that are really kind of doing the cruising, really methodical XP train, tend not to do it more because they don't want to stop and wait for it to fill. And I think that has more to do with these people tend to, in my limited experience, they tend to be running specific character types, like warlocks or artificers, from 1 to 20. And neither of those is particularly conducive to pulling 2 strength levers and 2 wisdom levers. I think that has more to do with it than anything else. Having said that, Vaughn 5 is great XP if you can get a party for it.
That's pretty much it. I think that those quests would be run if that lever and door thing wasn't there that required 6 people, then people would do it every single life. But simply because of that, it's not that you need, let's say you need 6 people, but you have to have the stats for it.
Yeah.
With at least 60% of the re-leveling population playing a combination of rogue, warlock, and artificer, it makes it so you just can quickly scan the people online. Are they there? No? Okay, skip it and just keep going.
It's one of those things I think if people saw an LFM up and it was already ready to go, and you had all the stuff ready, all the stats, you'd probably join it because it's great XP.
Mm-hmm.
It's also, I think, I kind of like in general to leave things that are in epic levels for running in epics, so I can have the XP there. Because again, it's a smaller quest pool to choose from, and especially if you're going to do epic reincarnations, you like having that first time XP available up there.
Oh yeah.
It's still great XP, but that's kind of where those fall into. But they are nice raids, and if you have never been to the Plane of Night, please go.
And don't fall.
Yeah, don't fall. But, well, okay, let me rephrase. Don't fall until you've completed the raid and gotten your loot.
Yeah.
Then fall. It's worth doing at least once. It's a beautiful area. It's not fun.
It is. It's so cool. And there's almost nothing like it. I remember one of my first times doing the Plane of Night. And it still can be challenging, especially at level if you don't have the right people, because that dragon hits really hard on Reaper mode. But even if you're still doing it with a group of people, it's got a lot of AoE. There's a lot of the different monsters. The Icelander's no polar ray, so it doesn't matter what difficulty you're playing on, you still just disappear sometimes. And I remember getting so excited to do it for the first time. It was going to be amazing. Back when level cap was 10, everything was going great. And I 100% game froze or something, or maybe I couldn't do it. And I walked right off the edge and slipped and fell back to Stormreach.
Oh.
And
I recommend wearing Feather Fall, because if you accidentally fall, there's a platform you can land on the bottom, which is nice.
Yeah.
If you have Feather Fall. If you don't have Feather Fall, by the way, you can also fall off if you're dead. Just be aware of that. If your avatar, even dead, falls off and gets to the bottom, you get ejected from the raid. Just so you know. Mm-hmm. All right. Let's see. Do you want to go next, Shrimp Tom?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about my absolute least favorite level 10 quests. Because the rest of them I actually like almost all the other ones except for these 2, and that is Black and Blue and Newcomers, the brand new Dragonborn based quests. I like the ideas behind these quests. You're supposed they introduce the Dragonborn to the story, and you get to understand how, like, kind of the powers behind trying to manipulate dragons, and the dragons that are also responsible for trying to take control. It's an interesting story. The named items you get out of the quests are very cool and iconic. They got great designs and details, and they even pair up with some of the items from the new raid that came with it, which was really cool. And I like even like the set pieces. I like all of that. But the entire quest has monsters that have insanely high amounts of health, and in humongous packs. So if you don't have high area of effect damage that can be easily repeated, you run into a lot of trouble with it actually being kind of fun to do, because it just takes so long to kill. However, on normal mode, these quests are actually tolerable, because not only does it reduce the health of the monsters from like thousands to just a couple hundred, which is kind of around like the other quests at that level range, but it also reduces the pack size. So instead of packs of like 35 monsters, you get like packs of like maybe 2 melees and like a caster and archer. So it actually feels like, a patrol or something, as opposed to 15 lizard men all standing in a big circle that then surround you that all have 1,500 health. Oh man, I hate those quests. It's not even the complaint about that they're long, but the first time you try to do it with a character that's mostly single target, so even like a ranged character that isn't playing specifically a ranger or a monk with many shot, and then you have to fight all these monsters at the same time. It's before you can get improved precise shots. So you're only hitting one guy at a time. It takes days. And if you're a caster that isn't a warlock, you run out of mana after 2 packs and you quit. You do something else.
I found personally that I like the quests on Legendary. They're long and they can be kind of sluggish, but I like running them on Legendary.
Yeah, Legendary is fun.
But but Heroic, I really didn't like it. I found it to be too much of a slog. What do you think, Beaker?
Well, I agree with Shrimpton. The packs were pretty strong, especially at the elite or higher level, but it was tedious. I mean, there was so many of them, and it's like,
and they're all the same.
Yeah,
but it's very monotonous.
But there were some glimpses of cool things. So there's the panther eyes in the bushes. Oh, I freaked out when I saw that. I thought that was so cool. And then the Simon trap, where Simon, where you do the trap.
Simon Says, yeah.
Yeah. I thought that was original. I mean, we've never seen that before. That was kind of cool.
The moving platform thing?
The moving platform, yes. If you're not a Mario guy, then you're not going to like it. But it took us a few minutes to figure it out. I mean, it was kind of challenging. And the loot, some of the end loot is really good. I mean, I got a couple of nice items on it. Would I run this quest every time I hit 10th level? It would have to be under special circumstances, because the mob thing just kind of takes the breath out of it for me.
I think you hit the nail on the head where it's in Heroics, it's the pack size, because there's a lot of them, and it's before you have improved precise shot. It's before you have mass charm spells and stuff like that. So it's the number of them is more problematic at that level. Whereas when you get into the Legendary and you're probably level 28 to 30, you have all those things, and it's not as
Dire
big
Charge
of a deal.
and Hellball and everything else.
You have a lot more options to deal with a large pack size, and I think that's important to note. I do like the quests and the loot from them. It's but not at Heroics. It's a weird. I think it's an interesting tension there. We may see the same problem with Ravenloft, actually.
That's why I'm thinking like level 10. Like if you start there, like, oh yeah, cool, I start the game, but then the monsters have like 7 times as much health as you do, and also do more damage, and there's 30 of them in every room. And they're also standing in the middle of the room instead of actually dispersed looking at different things like in older quests.
Yeah. Before Beaker pulls another one, I want to quickly touch on a couple of quests, because we mostly talked about their chains already in the previous episodes. The last 2 quests for CO6 are in this level range. Again, unless you're running the whole chain, you're probably not going to hit them, because they're the last 2. You have to have someone having the full chain.
They're so good.
I love the chain. there's a lot of short quests. In terms of maximizing Reaper XP, because they're short, they're qualified as a short quest, but they're so short that you can cruise through them pretty quick and get some pretty nice XP for your buck. I would say not the last one, but the second to last one, be a little cautious on your choices for skulls if you're running Reaper. There's a lot of methods.
Yep, I was just gonna say that.
Even back in the day when this was level cap was 10, that quest, the second to last one, was pretty hard. That first
the
method
first
fight,
door.
yeah,
Oh
the
my
first
God,
method
that door.
fight
Yeah.
was brutal. Bring resistances if you don't have resistances. But otherwise, they're a lot of fun. There's also several of the Threnal quests are level 10, which is weird because it's kind of annoying because the Threnal quests kind of bounce back and forth because you have to run west and east, right? And they tend, like, some of them are like 8, 9, 10, and then some of them are then it, like, goes
It's just
back
all
to
over the
8.
place.
Yeah, it kind of bounces back and forth. It's not like CO6, Great Moon CO6, where it like progresses, and Tingled it progresses, but this one's like 8, 10, 10, 8, 9, 9, 10, 8. Like, it kind of makes it hard to run them in that kind of sequence where people are, especially if you want to, like, if you're doing bravery streaking, go in there at level 10, you can knock them all out, and that makes sense. Also, some of them aren't very popular anyways, but if you can, I would say East 1 and 2 are really quick. Well, 2's not really quick, but it's got a good pile of XP for it. And West, like the first 1 or 2 of West aren't too bad either. So you can, if you know what you're doing, you can run them pretty quick, and if you're in the right level range, you can knock them out. But people tend not to go there because they're not going to do the whole chain. However, and I know Voodoo would be very upset if I didn't mention it. The giant caves that are out there.
I love giant caves.
I think at least one of them is level 10. So
We did them last night, actually.
yeah.
Yeah, there's that. I can't remember. Is that? I don't think it's the giant supplies, but it might be, or the giant chieftain. The
giant
one
supplies,
where,
I think, is one of them.
Yeah, there's one of them where you can, where it's like you walk in and it's either fire giants or hill giants when you walk in, and you can reset it until you get it as hill giants instead of fire giants. My group and I tried to do it as fire giants on a higher Reaper difficulty because you gotta kill 10 giants. It's so easy. And then you get imploded by fire giants that all cast Scorching Ray and Fireball for like 10 jillion damage. It's awesome. It's awesome.
It has mentioned in the chat from Drakenor that these were the end game, like CO6 and Threnal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had Vaughn and Tempest Spine at the time too, but yeah. So, Mr. Beaker, why don't you start us by talking about Tempest Spine? I'll choose for you because the next one we can kind of transition into level 11 with.
Yeah, I like Tempest Spine. It's the raid that I always do, only because you don't necessarily need a full party to do it, depending on what difficulty you do it on. It's a change of pace. It tests your group to, especially if you usually run a small group, you can't bring a hireling in. So you either got to figure out how you're going to heal yourself or something. I think it's a great, challenging, plus it's a free-to-play raid, which I think entices people who then like that type of questing to go out and maybe be a VIP or a premium player later so that they can play more raids in the game.
Yeah, it's a good one to do. This is one of those I could kind of take or leave it as, it has legendary version, but if I'm looking at it from an XP perspective, I almost kind of rather have it run at heroic. Mostly because once you get up to legendary, and I'm not as concerned about XP, but I don't really have a strong opinion of when I run at heroic or epics, anyways. But it can be long. It's not linear, again, so you need to know where you're going. It's really easy to get lost if you fall behind and don't know where you're going. And even if you're just running it on heroic normal, if you get lost and separated, you might die anyways. But yeah,
I think what's well, I think one of the things that's really great about Tempest Spine is that it shows like just the origin of DDO, where the
mhm.
developers were like, okay, what do we want raids to be like? Because they definitely all played World of Warcraft before this game came out. And so like, what do we want our raids to be like? So they had this area which is big and sprawling. You got lots of trash monsters everywhere. It's got different bosses and stages you have to fight at, similar to like a regular raid, but instead of scheduling 3 hours a week, 4 nights a week for your guild, you could go in and get it done in an hour or less, depending on what your group was like. And so they made it interesting at the time, and like the way it was designed and how the traps are activated by different guys and you can stop them, and it's got the big explorer area. I think it's got a cool design, but at this point the monsters haven't been updated, so it's super duper easy on most difficulties. A couple of guys can get in there and get it
Except
done.
for legendary.
Except for legendary. Legendary, they start to hurt. But the regular Tempest Spine, I'm in the same boat. I could take it or leave it. I don't know if I probably don't run it most lives.
When the cap was 10, it was great because
yeah.
you could always find a group for it. I mean, do I run it as much as I did back when cap was 10 or 16? No. But I still have a fond place in my heart for it.
Yeah, it's a fun raid. I think in terms of XP to time, it's probably still one of the best XP raids. Just in how much time it's going to take you and how much XP you can get out of it.
Yep.
Although I am partially saying that if you're gonna run Vaughn 5 and I kind of lump it into Vaughn 6 for that. But I mean, Vaughn 5, Tempest Spine, and Shroud are kind of the ones that are great XP. So
the only problem with Tempest Spine is that for a reason I don't understand, the boss at the end knocks people off of the top of the fight back to the ground, which is like, oh cool, it knocks them out of the fight. But like, it literally means that if somebody's new, they just get screwed because they don't get treasure anymore because they're never going to find their way back. And if it's in Legendary, it means that if you're trying to do it on Reaper mode or on a higher difficulty, if a couple of the key people get knocked off, then he resets back to full and you have to start the fight over. So I wish they would remove that. It's dumb. It's
I've
bad
gone
design.
back and forth on that a few times. It does have an interesting challenge to it, but yeah, it is kind of problematic.
Yeah. Let's just take loot away from the people that don't know how to get back to the top without help.
All right, so let's move on to the desert, because that's kind of the next thing on the list. And maybe let's try to be a little less thorough on some of these. There's the two chambers next to Wiz King, Ramat and Kurosh, which they're not great heroic XP. They're not too bad for Reaper. My only complaint against them is you have to find the. It's one of those things like, here's a map, find the one point that the end point which moves. So, other than that, they're pretty blah.
Mm-hmm. There's just mummies and bad guys and
Mummies and gnolls.
hyenas.
Yeah.
And hyenas that trip you and knock you down forever. And then also, I think that's probably one of the first places you fight gnolls is when you go out to the desert. And one thing I will never, I think it is, one thing I'm never going to be upset about with the gnolls is that if you ever get killed by one, they always stop and they start laughing at you. They visibly laugh if they kill you. It's awesome.
What about the other desert quests? What are you guys' thoughts on those?
As a whole, I didn't put any of the only desert quest I actually put on my list of quests that I like in that entire area is actually Desert Caravan, because and then the higher level ones, the higher level 12 quests. Desert Caravan is great because it has this slow start. Okay, defend this caravan. Cool. It makes sense. It's something, if you've ever played pen and paper D&D, you've done at some point. There's always some point where you have to defend a caravan. And then it ramps up in difficulty. It's a few trickle in of monsters, and then by the last 2 minutes, they're coming out of everywhere. They're on the walls. There's scorpions coming from every side, and they're just overwhelmed. It's exciting, and it's really fun. It doesn't have crazy loot or anything, but the XP is good. It's got a lot of stress, and especially if you get a lot of people doing stuff, people are like, oh, there's a guy on the ledge and other things. And then if you add Reapers in, they destroy caravans in like 2 seconds, so it becomes way more stressful. But
yeah. I like that quest a lot. It's a lot of fun. It's only 10 minutes. It doesn't feel like like if you compare that to Threnel East 3, like the time thing doesn't feel like a pain. I don't know. Let's see. Other quests are out. So we'll do the walk-ups first. Purge the Fallen Shrine, Raid the Volcarum, Maraud the Mines. Of them, Maraud the Mines is a little less linear, but it's not. They're all fairly small and contained. So I like, they're on the list. I like that there's variety out of these too, though, right?
That's what I was going to just say. You got a couple of these quests that are not like anything you've ever seen before in DDO up to this point. Offering of blood, it's a race to the end without getting overwhelmed. Maraud the Mines is like, hey, where does this ramp go? Where does this ramp go? Purge the Fallen Shrine is kind of straight beginning to end. I can take that or leave that one. But you get a group of, and in Desert Caravan, you get a group of quests that you kind of haven't seen before. And now with the ability to do them on a harder difficulty, I think they're a lot more challenging than they were when they originally came out. Because you can do them on, we got polished in there on Reaper 3, I think, when we did it on Kasplat in Desert Caravan. Didn't we zone in and it was like already 3 Reapers standing right there waiting for us or something like that?
Yeah, I think we tried on Reaper 3 and it didn't go very well. It was fun, but...
Yeah. So I think these are great quests in a group of quests that are average.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they all provide you with like a slightly different mechanic or a different goal each time. It's not always like get to the end and kill the guy, but you've got get to the end and kill the guy, but there's different types of monsters in the way each time, which is exciting. Or I like offering of blood a lot actually, simply because it's like Desert Caravan where you have a time limit, but the time limit, instead of defend the caravans for a certain time, it's the monsters never stop respawning. And you have to keep going. You cannot slow down. Like the guys just keep running up the hall at you, so you got to go. It's almost like being in like a movie where they're breaking into the enemy complex and the alarm goes off and you got to get out of there. It's the same thing, and to me it puts that pressure on. And also, I really hope you don't fall behind.
Like that.
Yeah.
It's a fun It's a fun idea for a quest. It's really the only one that you have where they just keep coming, and it's not. You could. If you just stop and fight everything that comes your way, you'll be there forever. It's about moving through. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy the desert in general. I like the desert area. It's got a good explorer area. There's a lot of side quest, the walk-ups that we talked about. There's a good variety. It's 3 different areas, so you get different. The same thing is true of Orchard and less extent. I don't really feel the same way about Giant Hole because it feels like they're all like I get that there's 3 different areas, but it's like different kinds of giants and different kind of trash mobs that are very similar to each other. But the desert is very different in that you've got undead in one area, which is a completely different type, and you need different spells and abilities to really contain undead compared to the other stuff that's there.
And look at Mummy Rot.
Yeah, right.
If you're not geared up to get rid of Mummy Rod, your quest is going to be over real quick.
Yeah. I want to let's wrap up all the desert stuff. So the ones that are 11, I like all of those. I would run all of those if given the opportunity.
I run them every life.
Yeah, same here.
Chamber of Ryum, which is more commonly called Wiz King, great XP. Again, not a linear quest. It's not too bad, but if you don't know where you're going, and if you don't kind of have the map kind of come into your head, it can get really confusing really easily. So I understand, and it's a lot of kind of back and forth. You can watch our Kasplat video from this week, and you kind of get an idea of that. And I said that there's just a pro tip on that one. If you're there's 3 towers. There's kind of like the main ring. In 3 of the 4 corners, you want to be going up. If you're trying to get to one of the 3 bosses, you go up. If you're trying to get out of that tower, you go down. That's kind of it'll help you kind of navigate some of that area. But there's falling floors, which can be really really fun, and it's a neat trap way of doing a trap, right? So there's some fun stuff with that. There's a good variety of traps. if you're not really excited about it and not having fun, it can be a slog. I'll be honest. Wiz King can be a slog because you can get lost really easily. You don't know where you're going. It's just waves and waves of undead. Doesn't feel like you're going anywhere. That can totally be a thing. But I mean, it's a very popular quest, in heroics and legendary or epics. So you can usually find scoops. It does give you an interesting choice though. Like if you find the Wiz King quickly, you may wish to just end your misery, or you can finish all 3 towers. It also lends itself well to, if you have the right party, to splitting up. You can actually do all 3 towers at once, and you can really crank it out. It's got great XP, and it's got a lot of optional XP, which is where people really start to like it.
If you haven't done Chamber of Rain before, or like you're a bunch of new players maybe starting out and you don't know which quests to do, if you got a group of people, go do Chamber of Rain because it plays like a movie. You walk in, it's this big open chamber. There's an ominous voice taunting you as you do it. And there's traps and like the floor falling in, and then you get stuck. And do you rescue that person or they turn into a mummy? It's like you start losing adventures. Like I said, it plays out very much like a movie, with the exception of there's a head that you have to pick up that causes another trap that you have chases after you. If it had that, it would be literally a perfect movie quest.
It may be the first quest that I think really feels like a dungeon crawl.
Mm-hmm.
And that may just be from an experience. The last, not the group I'm in currently, but the last pen and paper group I was in, I joined a group, and they were already it was a group that was playing twice a month, and they were already like 3 months into being in this pyramid, and we were there for another we were there for another we spent half a year in this place, including we found the boss and ran away from it and hid upstairs, and in game time I think we were there for like a month trying to figure out what the hell we were supposed to do next. In any case, I think that Chains of Flame, or as some people like to call it, Chains of Pain.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
Honestly,
not overly linear. A lot
No,
of
it's
back
very
and
linear.
You go back and forth a lot.
There is a little bit of back and forth, but there's only one way to do the quest, and it's a very straight line. It's just if you don't know it, it seems like it's
I
not
wouldn't
linear.
call it a
Like
straight
you go here,
line because it's like a line that you do this, and then you go to the left, and you go backwards to a farther, and then there's a couple places where you kind of backtrack. It's definitely more linear than Wiz King, for sure.
Yeah.
It's definitely got that going for it. The shooting from above is kind of a pain, but you can deal with it. Again, this one we just ran out of splats, so you can check that one out. It just has to be longer, and I think it's less interesting than Wiz King and Offering of Blood, I think, for most people. So, I will say, if you're running it on Epic, which we'll talk about when we get there, but it has more changes probably than any other quest going from Heroic to Epic, most of which are designed to knock you off. It's just a bit of a pain. So if you do Chains of Flame, you can do against the Demon Queen, which is the pre-raid, and then there's also the raid, which, again, I think most groups tend not to run these days. I like them. The raid itself is super short. It does have the really annoying mechanic that only 6 people can get into the pre-raid, so you kind of have to do 2 groups and then combine into one, which is a little bit annoying. And you have to run the pre-raid every time you run the raid still.
Yep.
But if you're running it on an Epic, you can run the pre-raid on Heroic and cruise through it really fast. And it's not that big of a deal. But I will say, though, that Part 1, the pre-raid, there's one shrine, and it's about 2/3 of the way through the quest. You got to do all 6 spokes before you get to that. But it does have a lot of. It has a nice variety of what you're doing. Really fun quest.
Yeah, it's got different monster types. It's got puzzles that you have to kind of think and figure out. You can, and there's different ways to do the quest. Some people like to split up or stay together. I, and the monsters also, not only within the variety, they just have different abilities in what you encounter in the sands directly. I think it's actually a very well done quest. I quite like Against the Demon Queen.
Beaker, anything you want to talk about for the Sands before we move on?
Other than I'm looking forward to finishing up our Kasplat. We're going up against the Demon Queen next week, I hope, and
Oh,
then
dear Lord.
we'll try the raid after that.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a long time since I've done those quests, so it's going to be nice to go back.
If you are doing it for XP, it is worth it to go out of order, I would say, in part 1. Do it once, because you get sent to this room underneath the main area, and be ready for it, because there's a lot of mobs down there that are going to try and kill you. But there are 4 named monsters down there that each give a pretty sizable chunk of XP. So, and if you want the monster manual stuff, it's pretty good down there. So, all right, Mr. Beaker, why don't you pick where we go next?
Well, the one on the list for level 11 that's kind of grabbing my eye is the spawn of Whisperdoom. Now, when that first came out, everybody was like, "Oh, well, we wanted to kill Whisperdoom when we were doing Tsar the first time, and you couldn't really. I mean, she kicked everybody's butt in Tangleroot. But now you got here. Oh, you got a chance to get her. The bad part about that quest is you got to find her, and that can take a while. It's semi-annoying, but when you finally find her, it's a lot easier to kill her now than it was when the quest first came out. I'll say that for sure. But if you like killing spiders and you like dungeon crawling, it's not a bad quest. It does have pretty good XP. There are some rare items that you can, or there's 3 things you can collect in the quest to get a rare item. I wish it was automatic that you got that one of those items, but it isn't. And that's kind of the disappointing treasure aspect of this quest.
I actually like it a lot. I think that it's very interestingly designed. I always think about it from like the perspective of this is a quest that is challenging, but not because the monsters have like a bunch of health or something, but because there's just so much variety. The spellcasters are always placed on the outside or at the back where the melee gets in front of you first, or they're on ledges. A lot of the spiders are actually spellcasters themselves, which surprises you, and they have cool animations for the actual spell casting. And there's just areas where there's like a pit that you have to go. There's pits that you have to go into that you don't know what you're going to be fighting when you get there, or how the monsters are going to be rearranged. And then of course Whisperdoom, when you fight it, it's constantly summoning spiders, so there's like reinforcements always coming for you, along being a difficult and spellcaster spider. So I think they did a really great job with kind of the making it difficult, but at the same time not like overwhelming and fun.
The chat has alluded to already that by putting out the name. This is an interesting quest because it's a 3-act quest. There are 3 distinct acts that you're actually doing in 3 different areas. You have to go to one to kind of unlock the other one. Well, you have to go to the 2 to unlock the 3rd, essentially. But it is kind of fun for that reason. But I mean, and each of those acts is essentially a short quest.
Yep.
So it's the timing isn't too bad, depending on how long you have to look for Whisperdoom. That area is fairly sizable, but not too bad.
All they need is a door from the village, like when you kill the boss, that just boom brings you right back to the front of the quest instead of having to walk back through.
As a side note, I think originally Whisperdoom was actually killable. People went back in there to kill her, and then they said nope, and and went in and basically made her unkillable.
They give her the ZZ treatment.
You may still be able to do it, but I think they made it like completely unkillable. Hey, Strimtom, where do you want to go next?
Well, I'm going to avoid the quests that I don't like, and so I'd love to talk about House Tarasco. House Tarasco has a lot of really cool, almost exclusively undead-based quests in it for level 11, and there are also a lot of follow-ups to other types of quests. So, for example, there's Enemy Within, which is one of my favorite quests in the game, in which you have to help Annabelle de Tarasco, a character who you help on Korthos Island or who you had previously helped before when you were just in the harbor. So somebody you'd already rescued who nobody's listening to. Then you go beneath the tower in where you do in Mirror Sleepless Nights. So you actually get to see what some of the noises were actually related to. And then there's this like evil plot and cool monster types with the ice skeletons and the traps that are randomized, so you never know where the traps are going to be. And they're these pit death traps that just are terrifying and kill you. And then there's also mind players that are orchestrating the whole thing. So it's new monster types and variations on the traditional skeleton monster type. Plus, it's just fun. I really like this quest. I think that the way and how they introduce it and how it fits into the story was done really well. I really like the enemy within. It's a good quest.
Definitely worth running once, if for no other reason than your monster manuals.
Yes,
There's a lot
absolutely.
of monster manual stuff in that one.
And a lot of collectibles. So many collectibles in this quest. There's like 30,000. If you want to get the collectibles that you need from the alchemist bench, I think there's 23 in this one quest. So it is worth it to do for that. The downside, I would say the only reason I would say I don't like this quest, there's no named items from this quest. It's just regular loot.
It is a quest too that you can shorten it a little bit if you have two. You can split into two groups.
Mm-hmm.
Make it faster. Let's talk about some of the other ones that are out there. From Beyond the Grave, that the loot run of old.
Oh man, so many times doing that.
It can be a pretty short quest. Make sure you guard the gate. I do kind of like them. It is kind of a fun mechanic. Like protect one area, but then like go out and do a couple of like light the pyres or whatever they are, which is kind of fun.
I will give everyone here pro advice. This is a super great tip if you've done this quest before to make it way easier. When you are lighting the pyres, there's a box that surrounds the pyres. It's like filled with dirt. If you do not touch the box, skeletons will not spawn. They only spawn when you actually touch the box. So you can light the fire from outside that box, and then skeletons do not respawn. But if you touch it, it causes skeletons to respawn on a 30-second timer, and to light the box, it takes 45 seconds, which means that if you actually touch the box at all, the rim of it, you need a second person to help you the whole time because you can't keep the skeletons off you.
Yep. Let's see, what the other ones are out there? The Dead Shall Rise. The Spire.
I think that's the first Lich.
It might be. I like that quest. The end fight back in the day was brutal because it took long enough to kill the guy that
the floor keeps falling out.
And you'd end up all the way back at the bottom. That could be problematic.
Well, and the random traps aren't nothing to walk by either. Some of those traps can be nasty at high level.
Again, I like the combination of some of those where it's like the air jets are trying to push you off down the center of the tower to make you fall
and there's
down.
The blades that are spinning
through a blade trap. It's a nice touch.
I like that quest because it's got also the hidden element to it where there's those like things you can click, the altars that you can click on, and nothing happens, and no one tells you what to do with those altars. But if you are a cleric, you can actually stand at or on top of the altar, and if you turn undead, it'll automatically kill all the undead in the area, even if your turn's not powerful enough, which is really cool. But nobody tells you that. That's how it works.
It's true. Draconair is saying he thinks Wiz King is the first Lich. In terms of coming out in the game, yes, but in terms of level range, I think because Dead Shall Rise is level 11, Wiz King is 12. It may be the first Lich you run into.
Plus, it's easy to find too. It's just in Delirious Graveyard. You're like, oh, cool. There's this quest, and you go do it.
Let's see, Mr. Beaker, where would you like to go next? There's a few things to choose from here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I gotta put a thumbs down on the tomb quests.
Someone has to do it.
You know, we tried them back in the day, and they were great when there wasn't other options. But couple of them
were they great back in the day?
No, not really. I'm lying. No, I mean they're fun to try once just to get your palate for them. There are some people who really like them, and for that, you know, I'm glad that they're there for other people, but not for our group. It seems like it's too much at one time for one level. You know, if they had one or two of these at each level, and they weren't as tedious and identical. Identical is a strong word, but very similar. I would be more inclined to run them, but unfortunately we just avoid them.
I would say because this is Necro Part 3. I would say of the 3 Necro parts, This one is actually the most dissimilar. That's kind of my take on it. I have mixed feelings about these. I don't like to run them for the most part, but they do have some interesting mechanics, which is kind of fun. Tomb of the Blighted, the whole throw the water on the ground to cure yourself, is an interesting mechanic for the first 2 minutes. Mm-hmm. The other 20 minutes that you're in the quest, it's kind of a pain. Tomb of the Forbidden isn't bad. It just has, you have to pass the gear between the walls, which until you figure out that you can unlock the lever with the gear without pulling it and pass the gear across, it's kind of a pain. Tomb of the Unhallowed is actually really easy. There's not really anything to it.
Mm-hmm.
Tomb of the Tormented.
Yeah,
is aptly titled.
The reason why people don't like these quests is because, unlike all the other quests in the game, they're like regular quests, except they have some frustrating mechanic that just makes it slow. It just slows you down. Just an extra thing you have to do that physically slows you down in all these quests. And people don't really like that. So like you said, when you touch the water, it makes you slow, it reduces your stats, and you have to use this thing on yourself. What if they just made a quest where you didn't have to do that, and they had all the other mechanics? And then it wouldn't be as frustrating, and it would be more fun to do. And then you get Tomb of the Tormented, which has the best idea they've ever had for a quest.
I like Tomb of the Tormented if I'm the one doing the rat maze.
Oh, it's so cool. Like
it's
this,
slow,
and it's something you can't. No other game has a quest like that.
Yeah.
Like it's just awesome.
But if you're not doing the rat maze, it's boring as hell, and it's long.
Yep.
Especially when it's even worse if you feel like you're really good at the rat maze and you could do it twice as fast as the person who's doing it. Like there's some tricks you can do with it. Like you can actually feed. Actually, I should be careful. It's come and gone. Sometimes you can feed and sometimes it won't let you. I don't know where we're at right now, but the carcass eaters, you can actually feed them and have them step on buttons for you instead of having the rats do it. So you can. There's ways to kind of shortcut a little bit. I like the mechanic, and if I'm doing it and having a good day with it, I actually enjoy the quest. But everyone else is gonna. It's boring. What are you doing?
Yeah, you have one guy doing it, and then you have a bunch of people that go make coffee or just hang out and watch a movie. If it didn't take half an hour, it would be okay.
It's got good XP though. If you can do it in half an hour, it's actually got good XP.
All the quests have good XP. Oh. They're amazing XP, but nobody runs them because
they're frustrating.
Yeah. Although if you play Warlock, the other 3 quests aren't that bad.
I do prefer Necro 3 to Necro 2 though, personally. Except for the capstone quest, which let's talk about the curse script because we're there.
Sure.
It's timed, but the time isn't really that big of a deal. You have an hour to do a quest. It probably will take most groups about 30 to 40 minutes. You can't kill the dudes, the Silver Flame guys. That's the annoying part of it. If you kill 5, you lose, and there's 4 at every single vampire, all 3 of the vampires. So, plus another like 8 in different areas. It could be kind of a pain. But otherwise, it's not really that bad of a quest. Watch out for falling floors.
No, it's not. And then there's, I think it's interesting and it's diverse enough. But I feel like it's just you kind of got that sour taste in your mouth after doing the tombs that it feels like it's not very good. But at the end of the day, it's not actually a bad quest.
Mr. Baker, anything you want to say about Necro 4?
No.
Did you get anything?
No, I think I've run it twice, maybe. We would get, there was so much other content to do it that we just bypassed it.
Again, there's not a lot of content in here, but there's a lot of things that people don't like to run.
It's probably a combination of both.
Yeah. Let's wrap up the other level 11s. Dreams of Insanity, which is House J.
Quest.
That's a good quest. I like it.
A lot of beholders. A lot of chaos orbs. But some fun stuff going on there.
The thing that they did with that quest that's good is it's hard, but again, there's no piles of hit points in all these monsters. Yeah. You have like dogs that have weird immunity resistances. You have spellcasters mixed in. You have the invisible Therachounds. You have beholders that take away your buffs. You have to move around those balls all the time. So it gives you things to do that makes it challenging, but it's not impossible to overcome. And it just means, maybe I want to bring a friend who can do this or vary up your party. And then sometimes you get zapped by beholders, and you instantly die, and you got to restart the quest, and that's kind of annoying. And then the end bit, you got to jump and climb stuff, because it's DDO. Of course, you have to jump and climb stuff.
Pro tip: if you don't have enough intelligence, charisma, or wisdom to do those runes at the end, the Chaos Orbs will actually cast Owl's Wisdom and the Eagle's Splendor and Fox's Cunning on you. They'll cast lots of other mean things on you as well, but they will give you the buff you need. The last level 11 we haven't talked about is Made to Order. And the one thing I will say about Made to Order is have something for adamant that does adamantine damage, especially if you're running this on Reaper and you don't have adamantine. It will be a slog. It's brutal.
I skip this quest every life, so
it's not a popular quest. It's not a bad quest, but I think there's just kind of other things that people would rather do. And the desert is really going to be the, like, if we were to do, we'll probably skip the roadmap just for time's sake. But if you were road mapping this, you'd hit the desert. The desert's a lot of fun quests, it's good XP, and it'll pretty much get you most of the way through these quests. They're through level 11. That brings us to level 12. Who wants to pick one out of the? There's basically two solo quests on a chain. Which one should we talk about first?
Invaders. Invaders.
Welcome back
Everybody's
to
favorite
Waterworks.
quest. How could you not like Invaders? It reintroduces you to Waterworks. So all of a sudden you just get this guard who's like, yo, there's like some stuff in the Waterworks. So you're like, okay, cool. And everybody, when the game first came out, people wanted to revisit Waterworks. They thought it was cool and like, oh yeah, what if there's like epic kobolds and stuff? So Turbine at the time was like, cool guys, here you go. You walk in and it's full of all demons, the powerful ones. So you got ice cleansers. Gotta love that polar ray. That's gonna one shot you, and they're all invisible. And then you get the hounds, which have the cyclonic blast, and they're all invisible. And there's beholders everywhere, so you're always losing all your buffs. And then the death balls, if you don't have a death block item, you just die constantly, and you lose your levels, and it's amazing. I love Invaders.
It's a different way of running Waterworks, that's for sure.
It's a quest where you feel like the moment you walk in and everyone's getting negative levels and they're complaining, and you go, oh my god, I'm a Warforged. This is the best thing ever.
Yeah, there you go. I would say with Invaders, I like the quest. I don't have anything against it. I would say it's probably the last one I would be looking to run out of these quests. At least the ones that aren't like the raids and locked for other reasons. Level 12 is probably the level that I struggle with the most because I'm only going to really run 5 of these quests. So the 5 that we're going to be talking about here, Invaders and the other ones. Well, I guess Wiz King is on there, so I'd run that one too. But so 6 of them. But yeah, I like it. We ran it on Kasplat. That was fun.
Yeah, I missed that week.
Oh, you did. That's right. There was Kasplatting.
Yeah, I saw.
Relic of the Sovereign Past.
Actually, can I say one more thing about Invaders?
Yes.
So
Absolutely.
the end loot at Invaders is really interesting because if you don't fight demons ever, or you are a new player and you haven't fought demons before, based on the boss, which is different every time, you get a weapon that lets you fight demons. It's Cold Iron and Pure Good. And then you also get the little Invaders tokens. And if you plan on playing a cleric and you want to help your allies, so say if you're just like a healing cleric, you're playing with your friends, get enough of these invader tokens and you can trade them in for a heavy mace that uses your wisdom to damage people as opposed to your strength, which is very cool if you want to play like a supportive type cleric.
And if you ask for the tokens, you'll probably get enough in one run.
Yeah, nobody wants the tokens.
People tend not to use. There's only like 4 items you can get, and they're not very good anymore.
You need 25, I believe.
That was
25. Yeah.
Couple runs. Let's talk about Relic of Sovereign Past, which is also called BAM, for Black Anvil Mines, which used to be the one place you could guaranteed to get a heavy fort item back in the day, by getting the adamantine ore, which most people tend not to do anymore. Most people tend not to get the ore. There's still some decent items in there, but I mean, the stuff that was unique to that you can find more prevalent now, anyways.
Well, but we just ran that on Kasplat, and number one, we got a buttload of XP doing it on low level Reaper. So I mean that's a reason to run it right there. It is a little longer. You do have to have a trap monkey for the last haul.
You can actually run under those. You don't need to do traps,
Not everybody was as short as you though, Patrick.
Ouch.
But then regarding the items, the heavy Ford items and the adamantine, I mean, when we were there, we just noticed that hey, they updated those items a little bit, so they're not as ordinary as they used to be. But if you're still looking for a set of adamantine plate with, I think it was 2 slots in it,
Sounds right.
That's not a bad quest to run.
It is great XP.
Yep.
And I think, especially if you take out running the ore section, you can shave that down by like 10-15 minutes too. So
if you haven't done it, in that quest you can get an item called the Nightforge Spike, which is you craft with the adamantine ore. It takes almost nothing, and it's a dart, but it's the best non-shuriken throwing weapon you can get until epic levels. It does a D4, which is better than darts. It's a ×3 multiplier, and it is 16 to 20 on its crit range, as well as being adamantine. And there's no modifiers on it. So if you are playing as a swashbuckler, you can get a 10 to 20 ×4 crit on this weapon that hits like a truck. So
there you go. Great tip. The last thing we got on the list is the chain. And just because of time, we're probably not going to spend enough to do this justice. But diplomatic impunity, framework, Eyes of Stone. I like the chain is really fun. It's coin lord flavor, which is great. They're not terribly difficult unless you make them difficult yourself. That's generally my experience.
Especially in framework where you can get separated, the party can get separated in a heartbeat, and then once that happens, you're toast.
You can get drowned in minotaurs.
Yep.
Diplomatic impunity. There's some ways to kind of, you can use some heavy invisibility and DDOR, and the only problem with impunity is there's a couple spots where you have to like get the whole party there before you can advance, which can be a little bit of annoying.
Yeah, they need to take that out.
But otherwise, it's really not a bad quest. Good mob variety, a lot of which you can kind of run past. You can do this quest and kill only like 4 things if you're really creative about it. Framework is DDO's cow level. It's really what it is.
That's a great way to put it.
I do really like that the Thoris at the beginning. Basically, there's kind of 2 ways that they want you to go about this, or one of 2 ways to go about this. One is to be really sneaky and do like a nice little slick assassination. The other one is
nobody ever does it that way.
It's true. No. Well, it is pretty hard, to be fair.
Yeah.
It probably takes more work and effort. Now you can do it, but it takes more work and effort to do that.
Right.
Or the other way is to just slaughter everything, which can take a lot of time. But you can mow down minotaurs to your heart's content. I don't even know if they actually stop. I think you could just make them keep coming. I've never tried, but I do like if you don't do either of those things, Doris grumbles about not enough noise or too much noise and not enough violence, which is always kind of fun. But that's a quest that you can really shorten too if you don't care about either of those things. You can kind of cruise through it and crank it out pretty easily. You also get to fire yourself on ballistas, which is a lot of fun.
Yes, I was going to say that. That is actually a kind of cool thing they did there.
And then Eyes of Stone, which is the capstone one, which is the first time you're going to find a Medusa, I believe.
It is.
No, there is a Medusa rare in Temple.
Fair enough.
That's true. There is. Yep. I forgot about that one.
That's a good point. But Eyes of Stone is another one of those quests, really fun flavor, some good mob variety, kind of some fun stuff going on. You can shorten the quest a little bit. You don't have to do the library. It is optional to go get the stone salves. But if you don't get them, you need to have stone to flesh scrolls. Don't do what I did last time I ran there and go buy flesh to stone scrolls, because those won't help you.
Can you flesh to stone the guards after you free them?
I doubt it.
Oh man, could you imagine?
It'd be kind of cruel. What are you playing, an evil character?
Yeah, there you go.
That would be amazing.
I don't want to spend too much time. We're already running long here, and we got a lot of stuff to talk about still. Is there anything else you guys want to talk about levels 10 to 12?
If you're doing...
No, we did a great job.
I was gonna say, if you're doing Eyes of Stone, there's another one of those great collectible moments. The library, if you just put it on normal, you can just run in a circle there, and there's like 8 collectibles that you can pick up, and then reset the quest if you want to farm. And those are the good ones, the ones that give you like Constitution and like intelligence and stuff. So
Yeah, just to put a bow on it, that we kind of already are talked about, but I mean, there's a lot of quests in here that people are going to tend to skip. Sands is kind of the king of this level range, and then some of the other level 11, 12s. But you're probably not going to run most of the level 10s, and people tend to make up some of the ground in level 11. And then again, you tend not to run all of the level 12. I mean, there's not very many to run anyways. And then people kind of catch back up in Giant Hold, which we'll talk about next time.
Yep.
Yeah.
If
Awesome.
there was an option to skip from level 9 to level 13, would you take it?
I would skip as many levels as I can in Heroic.
Okay, so then there's an obvious yes, but
I mean, yeah, I'd skip as much stuff as I could in Heroic if I could. Yeah, so let's talk about game news, because we got a fair amount of game news here that I want to hit. The first thing was there was a hot fix to Update 36 Patch 2, mostly related to the Mimic Hunt. So if you were if you were finding mimics to be very difficult, here's some stuff that may have made you happy, although the event's almost over. It'll be coming back though, so this will take effect there. Mimics in the Mimic Hunt now have significantly weaker stats compared to other mimics. Their hit points have been reduced by 20%. Their physical damage is reduced by 20%. Acid Slobber no longer scales with hard and elite difficulty. The CR was corrected to no longer be significantly higher, i.e. a boss.
Yeah.
And mimics on Heroic Normal now only apply their Acid Slobber when biting. There you go. A lot easier.
So in case you didn't watch DDOCast this last Tuesday, Patrick abandoned us to a mimic that pretty much party wiped us.
I went and finished the quest.
Yeah, but it was.
And then listen to the screaming and dying.
Screaming and dying afterwards, right? It was actually hysterical. But yeah, we were on Reaper 2,
I think
3,
so, yeah. 2.
And the CR of the Mimic was 21, and out of nowhere it just boom, boom, boom. And if there wasn't a shrine right there, it would have been over.
Yeah. Loot kills in Mimic event. Also of note, Abishai from Trials of Archon Quest have had their spell power reduced significantly. Yay! Those things were.
Has anyone tried that yet? Because I know that I don't know if you still get Delayed Blast Firebolt for 400 damage at level 13.
I haven't tried it,
but I haven't tried it yet.
I'm planning on taking Kasplat there, which will be a hoot. Update 36 Patch 3. This is on a Lemania preview. So again, this is Lemania important. This does not contain everything that's planned for Patch 3. So that's kind of exciting. 2, things can change. This is Lemania, so take this with a grain of salt. Let's see. Reincarnation. Improvements have been made to the reincarnation system to prevent the loss of items when undergoing the process. A lot of this is probably actually more behind the scenes than something they said. Changes have been made to the way players' inventory and bank are moved to the reincarnation cache during reincarnation. The process occurs upon first login after reincarnation. It's more resilient against disconnects that occur at this time. If there's a problem and it detects items were lost, a message will be displayed in the chat window at login. Customer service now has additional tools to identify and restore items lost in this process. These tools will not be able to assist before this patch goes live. I was actually talking with some people that were asking about this. It's not that the frequency has gone up in this occurring, but it is. There's more occurrences happening because there's more reincarnations happening. So it would be like saying the percentage of car wrecks has not increased in the last 20 years, but there's 5 times as many cars on the road, so there's 5 times as many car wrecks. That's kind of what's happening. It is unfortunate. I do greatly sympathize with people. My understanding, and I think Jerry was kind of the show and talking about some of this as well, but it was kind of the idea that they think the culprit is mostly about how fast people reincarnate. So like you reincarnate and then go right through the character creation process, and it doesn't give stuff time to complete. and that's why you lose items.
Mhm.
That was kind of a theory. It's not like I don't think they've necessarily dialed it completely down, but that's kind of the process they were going through. I have not had this problem, but one thing that I tend to be pretty consistent about is I tend to reincarnate at the end of my play session, anyways, and I usually like reincarnate and then go do something else for a while, and then mostly because it's for me getting to the point of like emptying the cache and turning in the heart is a kind of a big maintenancey thing, and then I don't want to make a new character and then go through the like rearranging my hotbars at the same time.
Yeah. As for somebody like me, I tend to reincarnate a lot while streaming because character building is kind of like the draw of my stream. And so if I can't like wait all that time, and so getting this fixed would be amazing.
Yeah.
But apparently it's an exceptionally complex problem.
Yes.
And so having the tools to fix it is at least a good step in the right direction because it happens. You send a support ticket, everything gets fixed. But apparently it's very, very difficult to actually stop this from happening entirely because the process is not even fully understood.
It's complicated. Reincarnation is complicated. It's probably the most complicated thing in the game.
Other games don't do it, so.
Let's talk about some of the more fun stuff. So Ravenloft expansion features. So some of these are from the upcoming Ravenloft expansion are available for early preview. I have a feeling because of this, what's going to happen is update 36 patch 3 is going to come out at the same time that they put Ravenloft on sale. They haven't said this. I'm speculating. But my guess is they'll put it on sale, and if you pre-order, you will get access to these things right away.
I believe that's. I'm on the same page. I think that's correct.
That's me reading between the lines, but it's pretty bold lines, I think. So, Aasimar, new Eberron race, free to VIP is available in Ravenloft expansion bundles. And so if you have access to it, you'll probably get it right away. If you're not a VIP, you can probably get it in the expansion bundle. Currently, the base traits are 1 charisma, 1 wisdom. I think that's kind of silly. Myself, I'd rather see +2 of something. And they're talking about making that wisdom, doing a +2 wisdom. They get a racial lay on hands. It's called healing hands, just like paladins essentially, which is pretty neat. They have some other bonuses. They get a bond feat, which is essentially a quote stance. They're mutually exclusive with warlock packs. But one gives +1 to charisma, one gives +1 to strength, and some saves. Steelstar chimed in. He said D&D has a long history of mutually exclusivity clauses preventing certain synergies in ranging from class alignment restrictions, like you can't be a bard and a paladin, to class mechanics. If you want to use rage, you'll have to give up most forms of spellcasting. In this particular case, it made sense both on a game balance level. Aasimar intended to be more of a boon to cleric, favorable paladins than warlock, and a lore level, you can't invoke a celestial pack and a warlock's pack at the same time. He said Aasimar do not make optimal warlocks, and that's fine. Yeah, from a lore level, it certainly makes sense that you can't make a pact with an angel and a demon at the same time.
Yeah.
Clearly.
This
did get a lot of blowback.
They get
though.
upset. They get jealous. So
this did get a lot of blowback, which I think is a little unfair.
see, I think it's okay that there's a little bit of blowback because this is something that DDO hasn't really done in a long time since like launch. So they haven't made a decision like this. But if you look at like other games, like almost every other game has like a race restriction on the type of classes, like World of Warcraft or like Lord of the Rings Online. So here it's not a restriction. It's like just you could do it, but you would literally have to give up your demonicness, which is very role-playing-esque if you wanted to play a warlock, but
Sure.
your pact was to a god as opposed to some horrible demon.
It is worth noting too, because this was a lot of play. This already exists in the game in several different places. You can't rage while you're in a defensive stance. You can't have power attack and combat expertise active at the same time, or precision. Like they think precision, combat expertise, and power attack are all on 3 different, the same channel. So this exists in the game. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that. All right, the Aasimar trees. I'm not going to read through all of these, but I'll give you kind of some highlights. The cores give extra healing hands. There's you can get +2 to tactics or +2 to dodge depending on which bond you're using. The capstone lets you recharge your healing hands, much like land hands. So that's kind of neat. I do kind of wonder if the lay on hands stuff out of the Unyielding Sentinel tree will apply to some of these things. I would kind of hope so. That would be nice. Because you know what I'm talking about? Like, they have lay on hands stuff that makes them recharge faster or stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That'd be nice if they did that. Tier 1, you can get healing amplification. You can get over fear quickly. Some stuff we've already kind of seen before. They get Arcanum, so spell points and spell penetration are available. There's some more stuff for your bonds. Get 1 charge per rest, so you can get determination bonus to your healing amplification, positive spell power to equal to your character level, or you can get +2 primal bonus to strength and 5% primal bonus to double strike. So some fun stuff there. Charisma and strength are options here. They say that they don't want it to be optimal for Warlock, but there's some nice stuff. This is why you can't have the bond feat, because a lot of stuff is granted by bond feat stuff. So, see, at Tier 4, you can choose from the following: Tower Shield proficiency, Bastard Sword proficiency, Magical Training, or Quick Draw. That's kind of neat.
Quick Draw is dope.
It is. It's better than most people think it is. They are really trying to convince me that my Paladin wants to become this, because my Paladin still takes 2 levels of Fighter just for Tower Shield proficiencies and for feats, but at the same time, I don't think I'd have the action points to go to Tier 4 here.
Why? Yeah, Paladin enhancement trees are bad. Just put them here. This is way better.
I like my Paladin enhancement. Let's see. I think I actually go to Tier 5 in the Vanguard tree just for the extra DPS. So he's not a pure tank, but he tries to toe the line a little bit more than I probably should. Let's see. Racial past lives are heal, wisdom, and then racial action point. Steelstar did say, so someone asked if Scourge Aasimar were absent and not included in the known issues list. Steelstar said, that's intentional. Smiley face. Stay tuned. Tease. Steelstar also said that their goal is to have 3 new hairs for male and 3 new hairs for female, with the understanding that number may change. It's kind of a time thing. There we go. So Vistani Knife Fighter. Again, I'm going to kind of cruise through these. You do get to hold daggers backwards. That's kind of neat. Let's see. You get a bunch of stuff to daggers, including speed with throwing daggers and deflecting arrows. You get quick draw as a bonus feat in Core 3. Core 4 gives you +1 competence bonus to critical threat range and critical damage multipliers. Tier 5 gives you PRR and MRR, as well as a clicky that you can has a cooldown for 60 seconds. You activate it, you get 1 random thing, right? So it's you'll get one of these. You get 10% double strike or double shot, 10 PRR and 20 MRR, 2 to all ability scores, and 15 melee and range power. And the interesting thing is that they last for 60 seconds, and you have a cooldown of 60 seconds. So you just kind of keep toggling them. So, and then Core 6 Blade Masters gives you +2 to all ability scores and +5 attack speed with one-handed weapons and throwing weapons, and 20 melee and range power. So, yeehaw. Other stuff. So Tier 1, just really quickly, you get kind of throughout the tree, you get stuff that makes you better against undead, giving you bonuses to saves and stuff like that. You get undead as a favorite enemy. Some PRR MRRs in these trees. Let's see, other. You get some fancy attacks that give you. This seems like it's gonna be a very click happy thing, right? Because the core 5 has the click every minute, and then there's some attacks here that give you bonuses for 10 seconds, with cooldowns for 10 seconds. So, kind of interesting there. Let's see other stuff. You can get Blood of Vengeance, which gives you D6 damage for 2 seconds when you get a verbal hit. That scales melee power. Haste boost for attacking, so that's kind of nice. Let's see other fun stuff out of here.
Yeah. If you want like a quick and dirty of this tree, think of it like it's it's almost like a miniature Kensai tree with lots of cool attacks and specific buffs to a single weapon, but it's very, very themed and colorful to like the whole knife fighting style, which looks very cool if you haven't seen it. And on top of that, it's unlike the Harper tree, which while it's accessible to everybody and has a lot of good stuff at the bottom that you want to take, the tier 5 of this tree is actually incredibly good, and you may consider taking this universal tree tier 5 if you're using daggers over something else. It's going to be very cool.
Yeah, tier 5, there's a click that Vendetta gets a +1 unique critical threat range and critical damage multiplier to daggers and throwing knives for 15 seconds on a 60-second cooldown, so there's some fun stuff there. This is not... the fun thing about this is they're really kind of promoting this as an alternative to assassins if you want to be dagger-based. A fighter dagger user could probably be pretty interesting here. Although I think the competence... I think the Kensai tree gives you competence bonuses to critical threat and damage, so that part wouldn't stack. But you may not want to go to tier 5 anyways, so...
That's why with this, you're going to see an Aasimar pure cleric of the blood of Vol who is using the Vistani knife fighting tree, and it's going to be amazing.
Other stuff that they're previewing. There's 2 new permanent Gold Seal hirelings, which will be available in select but not all Ravenloft expansion bundles. They have them at level 10 and level 30. That's kind of fun. They're really trying to fill my inventory with these collectible these Gold Seal hirelings, right?
Yep.
And the with that, I think you can actually have a full party with these things now. Because that'll give us, I think, a total of 6. So there you go.
Well, there's 2 kittens, 2 owlbears. Yeah, 6.
Yeah. There's also some cosmetic outfits that they're previewing. You can check those out. There's also some cosmetic pets. Again, they'll be available in select but not all expansion bundles. I expect they'll be the higher tiers. Bug fixes, they fix some attack animations and unyielding Sentinel's Figure of Battle that gives only the 20 healing application it's supposed to. Another game news, Night Revels, Steelstar did tease being able to level loot up beyond level 24. So, yeehaw. Anything you guys want to say about all that, or should I just keep cruising through some of this stuff?
I'm excited for Ravenloft.
Same here. Yep.
And again, the logo is pretty cool.
Yeah, the logo looks great. It's good. You can shade it just up there. It looks really good.
Let's see. The store did go back to an external browser. They did put it back in the game, and it wasn't working correctly for some people, so they put it back to an external browser. People couldn't open the store at all. Bonus days through today, you can get 30% extra Epic XP. So if you're in Epic levels, congratulations, that's nice. Also get a +10 Treasure Hunter boost. The store sales for the week: Dress to Kill, you get 20% off of Mirrors of Glamoring, Bypass Timers, Cosmetic Outfits, and more. The coupon is Lesser Slayer count boost. Vamp Slay. There's a theme there, I think.
Gotta slay them vamps.
Yeah, right. That'll take us to community news. The 253rd Chronicle, DDO Players News, is celebrating its 150th episode tomorrow. Congratulations, guys. Jari will be there, so you can tune in 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time. The Swim Cleric build got put in the Hall of Fame.
That's scary.
Oh, God,
It's one of those entertaining builds. Let's see. Dunstaris has a zombie cleric build in time for Halloween. There you go. It's a couple of fun builds you can check out. Legion has created some mobile wallpapers. The guild for the week, the Tuesday Night Solana Dedicated Light RP Party is back for 2017, so you can find out about that. The comment for the week: if a dice falls to the ground, does it need to be re-rolled?
No, you always take it as it is when it stops rolling.
Ooh, that's a tough one. Depends. Is it crooked?
If it's on carpet.
Oh, it's on carpet? Yeah, absolutely re-roll it.
If it's on carpet, you got to re-roll it. But if you've got hardwood floor or a concrete floor, you got to take it as is.
I'll go with that.
My game rules are it has to be rolled on the table, and it can't be cockeyed. So, but yeah, it's definitely a house rule. Figure out what works for you. Maybe decide that before you start playing. Some people put them in Like you can roll into a box or something like that. That helps a lot. Let's see. Fansite News. DDO Players News had their 149th episode. The dreaded Ham Mimic. We got a shout out for our Kasplat series, as well as our show about debating last week. We had a couple questions. Let's see. Mickey's Raid Week hit 45, even though it got her 99th creature companion.
That's insane.
There's so many.
I wonder if she has the cube from Caught in the Web. The DDO.
I thought she had everything.
No, there's more than 100 creature companions currently. DDO as she is played takes place every Wednesday. Shoemaker talks DDO Wiki every Tuesday morning. Ozzy has no rest for the restless. Thosarian runs permadeath. And a very bad guild takes the blue pill. So there's a whole bunch of things you can check out there through the Chronicle. Let's see. Tabletop D&D live stream Maze Arcana is visited live stream, so you can check out that interview. I think they're actually moving to the DDO stream, which seems kind of weird, but cool. Let's see. Some other stuff. Voodoo had preview videos of both the Aasimar and the knife fighting tree, so you can check those out. And also be linking to A Very Bad Guild ran Tempest Spine, so link to part 1 of that. Also, Axel's DDO story part 2 is now available. We'll link to his forum post on that. Technical 13 is also saying his DDO Wiki Talk this week will be starting 24 hours into his 36-hour live stream on his personal channel. That's a long time, sir.
Wow.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
That's unhealthy. Make sure before you do that, you alert a doctor.
Stock up on
That's
snacks.
not a joke. That's serious. Like if you're like awake and focusing for 36 hours, that can be dangerous.
Stock up on snacks. Get a catheter installed.
Mm-hmm.
Ow.
Or just use the restroom like a normal person. DDOcast news. Kasplat's still going Tuesdays, 5:30 p.m. Pacific time. I'll just go ahead and say it. There is a break coming up. We're going to take November and December off. Have some time off from the holidays and kind of break the regular routine. The scavenger hunt, I have started giving out prizes. I got sidetracked and distracted by other things, so but I will be giving out more of those. I got out most of the big ones. But check your forum mail for that. My mailbox is emptied on the forum, so you can send me mail now. Oops. Lightning post. Fuzzy Duck 81 wrote in regarding last week. I'll just kind of give you the super high level highlights on that. Let's see. He said he agrees with the suggestion for changing Bravery Streak, removing the streak and increasing the base XP. He likes raiding, but he's definitely one of the later adopters for them and generally ends up missing the time when they're being run regularly. He gets burned out fast running the same content more than a handful of times. I do too. I can't sit there and run the raid 20 times in a row. I don't know how people can do that. He does like the idea of adding raid runes to other stuff. He said his hardest non-boss raid fight, or non-raid boss fight, was the dragon in black and blue. Yeah, he's pretty tough.
The breath hurts.
Yeah. He also says some of the worst are entirely optional. Whisper in the Haunted Halls, if you don't go for the dragon egg. I don't think I've ever done that, to be honest. Dead Pixels from the In the Flesh can party wipe in pretty short order if you're not careful. He's been enjoying getting mimics, but wow, the scaling issues, yeah. He did also have one of them turn up, also triggering a Carnage Reaper. My condolences.
Wow.
Yeah. He said the quarterstaff change seems to have been implemented as just a flat +5 or so increase to the hardness on all of them, which is nice. And I think it's actually affecting older stuff too, so it's great.
Mm-hmm.
He also says the unrescued slaves aren't the Reapers, as Propane suggested, but the lost souls that drop in Reaper difficulty. That was kind of funny. He also said that Reapers are lawful outsiders like Maroots are out to avenge those poor abandoned people in much the same way as Maroots. Don said he would rewind the dungeon alert system. It's kind of an interesting idea. I'm not sure, because it has an intent, right? But I don't know how well it actually... Well, I would actually say it. I think it does encourage people not to Zerg past stuff too much, so...
I think the issue with that is that at the point we're at right now, that there are people who can zerg past it regardless of what the dungeon alert is at, because their characters are powerful enough where you have movement abilities, so you can just kind of ignore it. Or you have quests that get broken because of the dungeon alert system, where there's monsters that spawn on you and you have to move at the same time. A great example is Prey on the Hunter. It's a quest where you are not incentivized to kill the monsters. You have to keep moving, and you need them to break open walls. But if you don't kill them, then you get the dungeon alert way too fast, and it kind of kills some of the immersion of the quest.
Don't get me wrong. There are definitely places where dungeon alert is broken and doesn't work very well.
Yeah.
I think as a system, as an overhead view of the system, does it do its job? Probably at least a little bit. But I think it's fair to say it probably causes as many problems as it fixes. So, Evaxion said he'd take away tomes from the DDO store. It was the main reason we always kept running hard raids after Garen was always a character to give us something to aim towards. Yeah, I think that's partially true. I would say that given that most of the tome or most of the like the raid runes and stuff, they don't have tomes as an end reward anymore. I think that I agree with what you're saying. I think it's almost made irrelevant by some of the newer raids that don't give tomes as their 20th completion reward anyways.
Yep.
Which may be there may be a slightly sinister thing going on there, unfortunately. All right, let's close out the show. Mr. Beaker, anything you want to plug here before we run off?
No, not today, other than check out DDOCast Splat. We're having a great time.
Death is guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Strimtom, what do you got going on?
Well, I'm still doing my stream every single Tuesday on the DDO stream from 7 to 10 o'clock p.m. Eastern Daylight Time.
Yeah, you stole my DDO Splat spot.
I didn't steal your spot. I've been doing this for like a year and a half. So unless
I wasn't using it for a little period of time, and then you jumped into that time slot.
Well, we can trade. You can have it back
fine.
if you want.
It's fine.
But I've been doing that, and that's been good. I've been streaming a little bit more often recently. I've been trying to get that out there, and I'm also going to start producing. I'm taking the time now. I've got videos in the works, like review videos and kind of comparison stuff, breaking down a lot of the math behind some of the new stuff. So that's going to be coming soon. So if you're interested in that, make sure you check it out.
That's for DDO.
That's for DDO specifically.
Yeah.
Like I like playing other games, but mostly DDO. I did a big foray into Lord of the Rings Online when the expansion came out, and that was super cool. But DDO is where I'm always going to be at,
Sure. So thanks for listening to the show. Thanks to these guys for joining me today. A little bit of a longer show, but I think it was a good one. Thanks to all the other contributors for DDOcast, and thanks to Sandy Stone Games and Wizards Over the Coast, and to Cybears for hosting the podcast. If you'd like to support the show, you can visit our website, DDOcast.com, or you can support us through Patreon. All of that money goes to prizes. That's how I was able to do prizes for the scavenger hunt. You can hit us up at DDOcast.com for show notes, MP3s, our calendar, previous shows, swag, and other fun stuff. If you'd like to be part of the show or have a comment on this episode, a question you'd like to hear us answer, or a topic you'd like to hear us debate, or you just want to say hi, leave us a comment or email us at DDOcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on social media and follow us for the latest cast updates. I am at DDOcast on Twitter. Our closing tip for the week comes from Miha on Thelenis. Just have fun and play the way you enjoy the game.
You're here.
So until next time, may all your attack rolls be crits, all your test level appropriate, have fun, and don't forget to gather for buffs.